The Kirky B Show with drummer Corey Coverstone.
Hey, it's Kirky B. Welcome to the Kirky B Show. I have the one and only Corey Coverstone, the man, the myth, the legend.
A man, maybe not the man. I am a man, but
You're a man, a man of many talents, and we're going to get into that. And man, I just have to say, so you're on this scene, and I discovered you through YouTube of all places. I think I told you the story before, but my wife and I were going down memory lane of all the great rock bands. Led Zeppelin came up. We were watching a bunch of Led Zeppelin, and then all of a sudden this band called Dirty Honey pops up. Yeah. And there you are. And I'm like, oh my God, this band is insane. And then I was like, okay, I got to see if he's on Instagram. And then there you were. And then I messaged you and said, I'm a huge fan. And then now.
Yeah. Which by the way, was surreal for me because I'm a fan of yours. I grew up watching I think I told you as well, the American Dream DW documentary on VHS, and you were one of the main drummers of that.
Spokesman of all things round, and that sound great. But man, I just wanted to get into. There were three things I really wanted to touch on with you today, and first of all, drumming, of course. Yeah. Where did you grow up, and who were your influences as a drummer?
I grew up outside of Portland, Oregon, in the suburbs. Growing up, it was a lot of classic rock stuff. My dad was a huge Van Halen fan. Mom was a huge Aerosmith fan. Stepdad was a huge Rush fan. So naturally, all those drummers and the rock radio station played all the classic rock. So it was, Alex Van Halen, Neil Peart, Joey Kramer, Keith Moon, Mitch Mitchell, all that stuff.
Wow. So you grew up proper then. Your parents.
Yeah, I guess so.
Your parents did you proper. That's awesome, man.
God. Yeah. I mean, I didn't discover like the great jazz drummers until way later, like when I was like 18 or something, and that was Nate Morton who kind of started exposing me to some of those guys.
Wow. And then at what age did you start playing drums, and did you study like proper with a teacher and learn how to read and all that? Or was it just you bought a drum kit at a flea market and started going at?
Starting out, it was, the very first thing was my mom, just like having a little kid who's like trying to figure out what are your interests? Are you into sports? Are you into whatever? So she randomly just got me like a little student model snare drum from the local music store. And so I had no idea what I was doing, of course, but I would, I remember putting on AC/DC and ZZ Top records. And for some reason, I thought ski gloves would be well suited to this.
You bring those back.
Yeah. So I would just like bang along on this snare drum in my bedroom to ZZ Top records and AC/DC. That was the very first thing. And then my dad got me back when, is Kmart still a thing? I think Kmart is not even
I don't even think it exists anymore.
Big
box stores.
Yeah, dude. So my dad got me I think it was a CB 700, right? That's the toy model. Like
the Kurt Biscara 700, man.
Yeah. Yeah, right, as your signature model. Yeah. So I had a signature Kurt Biscara student drum set for a bit. And,
sweet. What was your first real kit?
My first real kit was actually not even a brand of any kind. It was, I think the story was some guy who played another instrument. I don't remember what, but him and his dad decided they were going to build a kit and just build a custom drum set. So it was like very much standard, like 22, 12, 13, 16 sizes. It was like a blue gloss, not lacquered, but like, so you could see the wood grain in it. It was like a cheaply done custom kit. Yeah. So that was my first kit. And then after that, I had a Ludwig Octoplus,
Oh,
the stainless steel shells.
oh, dude, those things are worth some cake now.
Yeah. I
You
wish I
still
still
have
had
it?
it. No, I wish I did.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, those things are worth some dough. It was the
Yeah.
olive badge, right?
It was, yes, it was olive badge cake.
Yeah, yeah, because I
Yeah.
think that was the year they came out with the Octoplus stainless steel.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
So,
sick.
man, moving forward, did you start playing in bands and stuff like that? Junior high, high school kind of thing?
Yeah. I remember when I was 14, I want to say, I started posting ads on Craigslist to just jam with people and responding to ads and stuff. And um, eventually linked up with some guys who had like a punk rock band, and they were much older. They were in their like mid 20s, and I was like 14. Started playing gigs with them. That was my very first kind of like gigging experience. And then, yeah, it was a lot of like, at that age, I was more into like the hard rock. I mean, I'm wearing an Every Time I Die shirt right now, so I'm still into like some heavy music. But yeah, a lot of gigging around town just for fun, like garage band stuff. And yeah.
Wow. So then, did you find like when you're looking for those ads and then people would say, "Yeah, come jam." Did you find that these guys were older, or were they your age, or just kind of all over the place?
I mean, most of them were older. Yeah, all of them were older. I don't think I jammed
Yeah.
with anybody my age. Well, one friend who played bass, we would play like Crazy Train. Somewhere in the universe, there is video footage of me at the, I want to say, third grade talent show where,
Oh, you got to find it.
or
Got
maybe
to
it
find
was
it.
fifth grade. It was like I was in jazz band at the time. So I'm playing whatever we're playing, Chameleon or something, horribly, by the way. And then me and the bass player, who's a good friend, still a good friend, um, we went into like this drum solo thing, and then a segment of that was going into Crazy Train for a bit.
That's awesome.
Had to insert the rock somewhere in the jazz concert.
Oh, you have to. That's just prerequisite. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
then, moving forward into that realm, like when did you really start getting serious into being a musician?
It wasn't until like senior year of high school when my mom was kind of like, well, so what are you gonna do like with your life now that you're done with high school? I didn't get into any colleges or anything, and didn't really want to go to college. Um, so I was kind of just like very naively, well, drumming's cool. Maybe is that a career? Can I do that? And so that was when she kind of helped me find Nate Morton, who was my first mentor.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he
Nice.
was. I was living in Portland, of course, at this time, and Nate was doing a clinic in Seattle. So we went up and saw that, and that was like the first time, I don't know, seeing or like being exposed to like, he's obviously a drummer who like went to Berkeley and has studied and can play all, you know, he's a sick musician. So that was the first time kind of being exposed to that, as opposed to just like garage band people and self-taught musicians and
Right.
everything. And so yeah, I met him there, and then we, you know, exchanged info, and I kept in touch with him, and then eventually booked a lesson. And I would just do these like, you know, once a month or so. I would come down to LA from Portland, drive or fly. My dad was a long haul truck driver, and he would go up and down the West Coast. So once or
Oh,
twice
cool.
I rode with him, just like rode with my dad, and then took a lesson while my dad's like offloading the truck or whatever, and then go back up to Portland.
Wow, how fun, man.
So
What an
that was,
adventure. What an
yeah,
adventure. You take a semi ride down and take a drum lesson and then cruise back up.
yeah,
I mean, that's life, man. And getting to see the road, you know,
yeah,
technically your first tour
yeah, right. Early touring
or
experiences with
tours.
dad. Yeah. So
So,
yeah, that
man,
was, I was like 18 or 19 to answer the question. It was
wow,
young
that's
and
incredible.
serious.
And growing up in the near Portland area, I know there's a lot of wonderful musicians that have come out of that area through the years, and I'm just wondering, like, were there any particular local musicians that you used to like to listen to and go see live?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not like super in touch with the Portland music scene, and I never really was. But Mel Brown's B3 band, I always used to like to go see. He's like always been kind of the legendary like jazz drummer of
Yeah.
Portland. Actually got to sub for him in his band one time, which was
Oh, very
awesome.
cool.
It's been a
So,
while.
so when you were taking lessons with Nate, hey Nate, when you're taking
Oh,
lessons with Nate, did you learn how to read from him? Did he teach you like fundamentals of reading and paradiddles and coordination and things like that?
yeah, it was a lot of. Have you ever heard of a samba?
Oh wow.
Uh, it
Uh-huh.
was. Have you ever check out these? What is it? The Gary Chafee like fatback, kick drum groove exercises. Um, those were the first two things I really remember diving into with Nate. Was like just basic samba coordination stuff, and then yeah,
Wow,
getting in
what an interesting style to dive into.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't like let's dive into the extreme micro nuances of this entire genre and like master it, but it was like this is to broaden your musical horizons and also get some useful coordination,
Yeah.
skills. It's like playing samba feet and then doing the other just basic patterns over that is. But
Yeah. So learning those sambas through Nate and going through, like, fast forwarding into, how did you get the gig with Dirty Honey?
That was just kind of random chance, honestly. I was gigging around Los Angeles as a freelance drummer, just doing whatever gig I could find. And I played a country gig, and the bass player on the gig was a sub, and it happened to be Justin, who was the bass player of Dirty Honey. And so that
Who's a
was
lefty, right? He's a
who's
lefty
a
bass player.
who's a lefty. Yeah, he's actually a classical guitarist
Oh
first,
wow.
and then picked up bass at some point.
Wow, that's interesting you say that, because the way he holds his bass is very proper.
Yeah, and in his solos and stuff, he's always doing that like finger picking, three finger
Right.
thing.
Right. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, so that was when I met Justin, and then it wasn't until like years later, 3-4 years later or something, he just randomly texted me and was like, "Hey, can you sub in this rock band tomorrow night in Santa Monica?" And I remember him being, at the time, I was kind of like, I don't know, jaded about something. I don't remember. But I was like, well, what do I get to play loud? That was my only concern. I was like, can I play loud? So I was tired of doing all these. I think I was doing a lot of like, I don't know, maybe hotel jazz gigs or something where I had to like play super quiet. And I was like, I just want to like bash. Can I bash at this gig
That's
or what?
cool.
And he was like, oh hell yeah, we play loud. And I was like, what's the music? And he's like, we just do like all these classic rock covers. And I was like, that's, I know all that stuff, dude. I grew up
Right.
on
It
that.
was right up your alley.
So then we played at what was that place called? The Victorian or something? The basement in the Victorian in Santa Monica on Main
Yeah.
Street. And yeah, it was just like a cool bar gig. We played. It was me, Justin, Mark, who's the singer of Dirty Honey, and I forget who was on guitar on the first gig. It wasn't John. It might have been another friend of ours, Greg Carras, who's a session guitar player out here.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was the first time we played together in a version of what would later become Dirty Honey. We actually, after that, they asked me to sub again. They didn't really have a drummer at the time. They was just kind of like friends filling in for them. And at the time, they were called the Shags. And the only song that's still kind of in the repertoire from that era is Fire Away. It's the little song. but then we played out in front of, do you know the weed store in Silver Lake, right across from Intelligentsia, Moda?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right
I
by
know where that is.
yeah. So we played, it was like their opening day or grand opening or something like that. And so we played on the sidewalk in front of that building. And that was where I met John. And that was the first time that Dirty Honey actually played together, all four of us, was on the street in front of this weed shop in Silver Lake.
Oh, cool.
And then we just kept playing together, kept doing these local gigs. And
so the local gigs eventually led to you guys getting signed.
so the band's still unsigned. We were never signed a record deal. Yeah, we were the first unsigned band to ever have a #1 song.
Wow. So they still continue to be unsigned and they're just doing their thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not in the band anymore, but as far as I know,
Right.
they still have not signed a deal.
That's incredible. Yeah. I applaud that because, just the whole breakdown of, we've all seen those videos of how much the artists really make. So
oh yeah,
that's commendable, man.
Yeah.
I
I think we always like, we're open to the idea, and like, of course we're like, we need to get a record deal so that we can, move forward and do all the things we want to do. But, we got a couple offers here and there, and they're just not good offers. And we were like, why would we're already doing the thing. Like we're, at that time it was 2018, 2019, we're starting out, but we were like, feel like we can do this on our own, so why would we sign a record deal?
Yeah, because then at that point, the band owns everything, right? It's like intellectual property. It's what you guys do. It's what you own. No one gets a taste of it other than, maybe a manager or whatever, but it's all within the camp.
Right. Yeah.
Not some dude counting beans, driving a Ferrari and hating the music. Yeah. How fun. Now, this segues me into another thing that I found of interest. So I'm digging on what you're doing. I'm like, wow, this guy's great. I'm following you on Instagram and watching all your stories, seeing your breakdowns of certain patterns and things like that. And I was like, oh man, this is awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then the next video I scroll to is you at a BMX track.
Yeah.
Which is right down the street from my house, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second. And dude, you blasted some crazy air. And I'm like, okay, now I'm a huge fan. Because, growing up here in California, skateboarding and, growing up around a lot of surfers and, lowrider culture and, just everything that was just, that always for me came first. And drumming was second until I became a professional musician. But then when I saw you blast that air, I'm like, okay, what's up with that, dude? When did you start getting into BMX?
Since I was a kid. And it's funny you say that because for me, it was the same way. It was like, riding bikes, BMX, racing motocross, and all that was first. And then music and playing drums was like a secondary hobby.
Right.
But yeah, I grew up riding dirt bikes. That's probably where, I grew up riding bicycles. My grandma had a little farm and stuff with some property.
So man, you probably built like the ultimate track, right?
Nothing crazy. I was like a 5-year-old kid when I first started riding and had a little, like, what are they called? A PW50 or something, just tiny little motorcycle and my bicycle. And I would just rip around the property. Like, it was mainly flat ground. It was like little tiny hills and stuff. I would maybe catch an inch of air or something, but like that was when it started. Yeah.
But when you're 5, man, that inch of air seems like a 10 feet up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as I'm watching these videos of you riding your bike at the track down the street, I'm like, man, he's blasting these airs and, you have I think you had a helmet cam on one of them. And
Yeah.
There was the sensation of you, flying through the air, and then there was some stuff of like you jumping over the camera and all these great shots. And I'm thinking, I was like, he must do this professionally. Have you ever competed in BMX?
Never actually. No, it's always just been a hobby. It actually got in the way at one point though, like because I ride mountain bikes too, and I broke my wrist right before I think it was the Wolfgang Van Halen tour,
Oh
co-headline
wow,
tour that we were supposed to do, and that was an interesting time period of like trying to recover as quickly as possible before that tour.
wow. Okay, so the BMX thing, like you started doing that before drumming. Is there a part of you that feels like, okay, the music industry is what it is. It's I'm sure you wake up and think it's lame. I certainly do. I've been in it long enough.
Yeah.
But then do you think, man, I have the BMX thing to fall back on, which could be like, competing or opening up a bike shop or something like that. Have you
Uh,
have you ever thought of that realm? Because
I
I know
yeah,
multiple hats these
I
days is
never thought like I never thought it was a fallback. I always just thought of it as like something that I really love doing. When I was in high school, I did actually talk to a friend about opening a BMX shop. That was that was an idea that we had. It never came to fruition, but
I remember back in the day, I don't know if you've been to one, but do you remember Tony Hawk's Huck Jam?
yeah,
Did you ever get to any of those?
yeah, yeah, I did. It's funny you mention that because I think the band at one point that played in those was the Offspring, right?
Offspring, yeah.
So my neighbor here is Offspring's photographer, and he just went out on the road with them and was like reminiscing about the Huck Jam and all this. It's
Oh,
like
that's rad.
small world. It's crazy.
Nice. Yeah. A dear friend of mine who's since passed away, Charlie Quintana, used to play at Social D. And he called me from a Huck Jam. He's like, man, you're not going to believe this. These guys are flying over me, while I'm playing drums on their skateboards.
Yeah,
Oh, what I wouldn't do to be there right now.
that's sick. Huh?
Well, segueing into this next segment, there's there's something that could possibly bring you dough, right? This product that
Right.
you're involved with. Can you tell us a little about this?
And yeah, it's called Good Day Latte, and it's essentially a superfood packed powder that you can drink as a standalone. You add milk to it. You can add it to coffee. You can do the Kirky Bee Latte Spritzer. You've tried
Yep,
it? Yeah.
it's delicious.
uh, yeah, and it's basically just a healthy supplement that's turmeric and ginger and cinnamon. It's all organic and has now I'm adding cordyceps and lion's mane for extra
So for
physical and mental
those
performance.
for those people out there that are into Diet Cokes and Mountain Dew and sugary drinks and
Right.
aspartame and all that stuff, what are the benefits of drinking good latte? Good day
Good day.
latte.
It's really across the board there are benefits, but turmeric with black pepper, which is in Good Day Latte, is of course a very good anti-inflammatory. For example, I go to the gym and lift weights sometimes, and I ride BMX and I'm drumming. I notice my hands will get kind of puffy and stiff, and when I drink this, it really gets rid of that inflammation, and my hands are like totally fine. It's pretty incredible, actually. So it's anti-inflammatory. The ginger in it's obviously good for gut health. The Ceylon cinnamon is good for managing blood sugar levels. There's maca in it for a bit of energy. That's also good for cortisol, like stress management. And the cordyceps and lion's mane. Cordyceps is a mushroom that's good for muscle performance and endurance. I noticed that, as opposed to coffee, it's essentially a coffee alternative. Coffee, I love coffee, but sometimes it's a bit much and it can make you a bit jittery and stuff. And I notice cordyceps in particular, like when I go to the gym and I have Good Day Latte beforehand, it's not so much that I'll feel like really energized and like pumped up beforehand after drinking it, but I notice when I'm working out and trying to like push myself that there's more in the tank than without it. It's interesting. It's really cool. And then the lion's mane is neuroprotective. It's good for mood. It's good for all kinds of stuff, man. Lowers bad cholesterol.
Wow. So it sounds like you've really like educated yourself about what these ingredients do and their purpose. And I mean, I myself have had a few of your sample packs of it, and I just love it. And I'm a big fan of turmeric and a big fan of, things that are natural. I obviously love food. I love good food, and I love food that's good for you. And I will attest, man, this stuff is fantastic. My new jam with it is after I have my shot of espresso, there's the crema that's still stuck to the bottom of the cup.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll put the Good Day Latte in there along with the crema, then either pour the sparkling water on top of that. So you get the coffee, you get the espresso, the Good Day Latte, and the sparkling water going together, and you swish it around, and it just foams up, and it's amazing.
That's awesome. I still got to try that. I haven't done the sparkling water thing.
Yeah, yeah. Or just put another shot on top of it and stir the shot, and it just adds like a nice spicy shot to the espresso.
Yeah.
But man, that's awesome. Just in closing, I just want to wrap it up because we're running out of time here. But what we're all big fans of yours, and how can we follow you on the socials, and how can we order Good Day Latte?
You can follow me at Corey Coverstone. It's just my name on Instagram. Hit me up if you're interested in lessons or anything. I'm doing a lot of teaching these days. I have a little website up that's very drum lesson focused. That's ccdrumlessons.com.
Right on.
I'm also planning on, it's a little bit on the back burner, but I am planning on starting to offer a course for all musicians, a rhythm training course. More on that soon, but yeah, I teach rhythm to all musicians, not just drummers, drum lessons as well. And for Good Day Latte, the Instagram is thegooddaylatte. And the website is gooddaylatte.com. And you can place pre-orders now. There's some sweet merch up there.
Yes.
And
I got my order in. I can't wait.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
Right on, dude. Well, thank you again, man. And we'll be talking soon. And everybody go check out Corey on all the socials. Order up some Good Day Latte. It's delicious. Trust me.
Thank you, man. Glad you like it.
Yeah, dude. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll hang soon.
Sounds good.
Yeah, man.
All right.
See ya.